Doug, it remains unclear just how sick the president is. We hear those reports from his doctors that he's doing pretty well. He could even be discharged as early as today. But that doesn't fit with their own statements that he's been administered a pretty heavy dose of steroids. All that, I suppose, begging the question, are the doctors possibly trying to cover for the president and conceal how sick he is?
The short answer there, Nadia, is yes, in a nutshell, because his chief doctor, Sean Conley, practically admitted as much. Look, ever since day one of this administration, when the former White House press secretary, Sean Spicer, got up there on the podium in front of reporters and said that Trump had the largest audience ever to witness an inauguration, the Trump administration has been defined by, quote, alternative facts, misleading claims, or just outright spin. And it seems that that pattern goes right down to his medical team, his doctors, who are supposed to be objective medical experts, keeping the American public informed about the health of their president. In fact, Dr. Conley, as I said, Sean Conley, the chief physician, I said at the top that he all but admitted that he was spinning the president's medical condition. That's because on Sunday, he came out and essentially acknowledged that he had given an overly rosy picture of Donald Trump's health a day earlier. And why did he do that? Well, he said because, quote, I didn't want to give any information that might steer the course of illness in another direction, and so on and so forth. What does that really mean? It means that he was essentially speaking to an audience of one, that is his boss, Donald Trump, rather than trying to address the broader American people and the world beyond who want to have clear, precise information about the state of the president's health. Look, doctors have not always been upfront, U.S. president's doctors, with the American people. Woodrow Wilson suffered a stroke in 1919. His doctor hid that from Congress, from the American people, and from the president himself for many months. But in modern times, doctors have supposed to be more objective, and they generally have been. Trump has always been secretive about his own health, didn't release any medical records when he ran for president. And some people worry that he's now giving orders to his doctors to be equally secretive.
Yeah, and, you know, Doug, we understand we are just 29 days away from the US election. Donald Trump behind in the polls, 2 more debates in theory scheduled with Joe Biden. It seems extremely unlikely they can take place in this context. How can campaigning continue with the president in hospital?
Well, barring a miracle, Donald Trump's not going to be out there on the campaign trail in the next few days. And that is a major concern, even if the campaign is trying to paint a brave face, trying to make it look like it's going to be business as usual. They've launched what's called Operation MAGA, which is basically sending surrogates, sending Donald Trump's family members, including his son, out onto the hustings, out onto the campaign trail to campaign in place of the president. But look, we know Donald Trump loves his rallies, and it is a massive setback for him not being able to be out there on the campaign trail with 29 days left to the election. We also know that in the case of this campaign, we have Vice President Mike Pence, who's going to be out there as well campaigning, when a lot of people, a lot of medical experts say that he should rather, being first in the line of succession to the president, he should be isolating himself. This is a campaign that is going to try to forge forward. You mentioned polls. Well, the latest poll by NBC News and the Wall Street Journal in the U.S., nationally in the U.S., shows Joe Biden having doubled his lead following that debate, now 14-point lead over Donald Trump, 53% to 39%. Now, you could take the polls for what you will, but I can tell you that the president's campaign behind the scenes has been hoping to use October to close that poll deficit. And being holed up in the hospital for Donald Trump is going to be a major blow to his efforts to be able to do that. Having to rely on surrogates was not in this campaign's game plan, even if they're trying to make it sound like the president will soon be bouncing back, be back out there on the campaign trail. Everything is far from certain. Lots of unanswered questions. So no matter what we hear spin-wise in the next few days, Donald Trump's campaign is right now on the defensive and really going to have to scramble and find creative and innovative new ways to make up for a lot of lost time and a lot of loss of traction in the polls.
All right, Doug Herbler, our international affairs commentator, thank you very much indeed.